High Desert Power Project, Safety and Environmental Orientation. Please turn off your cell phones and other electronic devices and pay attention to the presentation. General requirements. Note: contractors and visitors at HDPP shall adhere to the Environmental, Health, and Safety (EHS) and general policies and procedures described in this presentation. HDPP management reserves the right to remove anyone from the premises of the facility for misconduct or violation of these policies. Immediately report all injury, illness, or near-miss accidents to your supervisor. Contractor's supervisor shall immediately notify the control room or facility representative. All contractor's supervisors must sign a safe work permit at the beginning of the workday or job before beginning work. Developing the safe work permit will include a discussion of any hazards associated with the work and any other permits required: hot work, lockout-tagout, confined space, etc. Contractor workers shall not work at any time when their ability is or may be impaired as a result of the use of legal prescription drugs. Contractor workers must be seated in moving vehicles and seat belts worn, if equipped, while the vehicle is in motion on HDPP property. Fighting, horseplay, gambling, possession of firearms or other weapons, possession or use of alcohol, or illegal or unauthorized drugs is prohibited. Except in designated areas, smoking or use of other tobacco products is not permitted on facility property. Eating, drinking, and smoking are only permitted in designated areas. All tools and equipment shall be inspected by the contractor prior to use. Unsafe tools and equipment shall not be used and shall be labeled as defective. Contractor workers will perform work in such a manner as to ensure at all times maximum safety to self, fellow workers, and the public, and in accordance with all federal, state, and local requirements. Contractor workers who do not either feel qualified for or physically able to perform will not attempt to work. Contractor workers will perform work according to established EHS practices and procedures. Contractor workers will obtain specific instructions and/or clarifications from their supervisors before proceeding with work in situations where an EHS requirement or procedure is not completely understood. Contractor workers will observe and adhere to all warning signs, signals, and notices. Contractor workers shall not be permitted to wear loose clothing or material extending from pockets or belts when in the proximity of machinery, motors, engines, or rotating equipment. Be aware that pumps and motors may start without notice. Contractors may not use facility tools, moving equipment, or warehouse supplies without prior approval from the HDPP facility representative. Contractors shall never operate any power tools unless all guards and safety devices are in place and in proper operating condition. Contractors shall remain in the general area of their assigned work. Do not enter other areas unless authorized by the facility representative. GFCI protection shall be provided for all portable electric power tools. Contractors shall never operate any plant equipment or machinery without prior approval from the HDPP facility representative. Conduct at HDPP. The following list includes acts and behavior which are prohibited in the facility: obscene or abusive language, racial, gender, or ethnic slurs, failure to follow specific instructions or specifications, deliberately damaging, defacing, or misusing facility property or the property of others, removing facility property from the facility premises without appropriate authorization,
Barricades and notice of work activity. No unauthorized person shall enter any area protected with red and black barricade tape. The contractor supervisor shall coordinate with the facility representative if barricades, signs, or other notices of work activity are required. The contractor supervisor will be responsible for erecting all barricades and notices necessary to safeguard all individuals, both contractor workers and site employees, during the conduct of the contractor's work. Barricades and notices are required around excavations, holes, or openings in floors, roofs, elevated platforms, around certain types of overhead work, around crane swing radius, and whenever necessary to warn people against falling, and must identify the types of hazards. The use of caution tape, yellow and black tape, means access to areas may be permitted only when it is safe to do so. Areas in which entry is not permitted will be cordoned off with red and black barricade tape and have signs stating, "Danger, do not enter," posted. Contractor workers shall not enter such areas without authorization.
Permit required confined space entry. No one will enter a permit required confined space until the confined space entry permit has been issued and posted. The contractor supervisor will coordinate with the plant representative to complete reviewing the permit required confined space entry permit and any associated paperwork. Contractors must be pre-qualified by the facility to perform the work and briefed on the hazards of the confined space prior to beginning work. Confined space permits are good for one shift only.
Contractors will provide documentation of each contractor's workers' confined space entry training that meets all the requirements under 29 CFR 1910.146. Contractors will utilize properly calibrated air monitoring equipment, and contractor workers who are trained to properly operate the equipment. Monitoring equipment may be provided by HDPP, or HDPP may request the contractor provide this equipment. The contractor is responsible for supplying their own rescue equipment and rescue services. If the contractor cannot provide his own rescue services, the contractor must notify their HDPP representatives prior to arriving on site so that the HDPP representative can assist in coordinating rescue services. The contractor will coordinate with the plant representative to develop a rescue plan for permit-required confined spaces. Cranes and motorized equipment. Contractor will never operate HDPP owned or rented mobile equipment without prior approval from an HDPP representative. The contractor is responsible for mobile equipment operator training and examinations and DOT licensure. Only certified operators with valid certifications may operate cranes and other motorized equipment at the facility. If requested, the contractor shall provide to the maintenance manager documentation establishing the operator's training and experience prior to conducting any work. Contractor will keep operator certification records on site for the duration of the job. Mobile cranes must be escorted by the contractor supervisor while traveling underneath any overhead electrical lines at the plant.